All right, so we've got this mountain of research on resveratrol you sent over, and you're really going deep on this whole longevity question. Is this the fountain of youth everyone's been searching for? Or just another overhyped supplement?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And scientists have been trying to crack that code for a while now.
All right.
We've got studies here looking at resveratrol and how it affects aging, age-related diseases, its potential downsides, even how it interacts with our gut bacteria. This stuff is complicated.
It is. It is. So let's break this down for our listeners. What exactly is resveratrol? Where do we even find it? And why is everyone making such a fuss about it?
Okay, so resveratrol, it's a natural polyphenol. Basically, it's a type of micronutrient that hangs out in plants, and it's famous for its antioxidant properties.
Okay.
Think grapes, red wine, peanuts, blueberries, you name it. Even soy has it.
So that glass of red wine with dinner might actually be doing more than just helping me unwind?
You got it. That's actually where a lot of the initial excitement about resveratrol came from. People were noticing potential health benefits linked to red wine.
Interesting.
I thought, there's something going on here.
So beyond the red wine connection, what's the research actually telling us about its benefits?
Well, the research is honestly super exciting. Studies suggest resveratrol might do a whole bunch of good stuff. A lot of the early research was in labs, not on humans yet.
Right.
But the findings are pretty impressive. For example, resveratrol seems to be great at fighting oxidative stress and inflammation, two things that really contribute to aging and all sorts of diseases.
This is kind of like an internal shield against like the daily wear and tear of life.
You nailed it. That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
It also seems to suppress something called vascular smooth muscle cell proliferation.
Okay.
Basically, these cells in your blood vessels, when they multiply too much, it can thicken the walls and restrict blood flow. And early research suggests resveratrol might keep that in check.
Wow, so it's keeping things flowing smoothly. And what about this cellular cleanup crew I keep hearing about? How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's another really fascinating area of research. It seems resveratrol can boost autophagy, which is like the cell's internal recycling system. It clears out all the damaged parts and keeps things running smoothly. It's even being studied for its potential role in vascular senescence, which is basically what happens when our blood vessels age.
So it's not just protecting against damage, it's helping our bodies clean up the mess afterward, too.
Exactly. And it gets even cooler. There's this protein called sirtuin-1, which is super important for longevity. Studies suggest resveratrol can activate sirtuin-1, and that might actually mimic the effects of calorie restriction.
Wait, really? So resveratrol could give us some of the benefits of calorie restriction without actually having to restrict calories?
That's what the research is pointing to. But it's important to remember most of these findings are from preclinical studies. We need more human trials to confirm these effects in people. But there have been some clinical trials that show some promising results, even if we need more research. For example, resveratrol has been shown to moderately reduce systolic blood pressure in people with hypertension.
So it might be a tool for managing high blood pressure.
Potentially.
Interesting.
And there's more. It's also been shown to lower blood glucose levels in patients with diabetes.
Wow.
And a 2021 review of a bunch of studies even suggested that resveratrol could be both safe and effective for preventing and treating aging and age-related diseases. So it's pretty encouraging.
It is.
Although more research is always needed, right?
Of course, of course. You mentioned something about how resveratrol could potentially affect how our genes function. Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, so a 2020 review indicated that resveratrol might help reduce the negative effects of aging by regulating a bunch of things, like oxidative stress, energy metabolism, nutrient sensing, and even epigenetics, which is basically the study of how our behaviors and environment can actually change how our genes work.
Oh, wow. That's pretty mind-blowing. So resveratrol could actually influence how our genes express themselves.
It's a pretty fascinating area of research. And get this, a 2023 review even highlighted its potential in addressing cardiovascular issues, metabolic disorders, and even post-COVID-19 related problems.
Wow. So resveratrol is this powerful antioxidant. It helps clean up cellular junk. It might even mimic the benefits of calorie restriction. And it could potentially influence our genes all in one tiny compound.
Pretty amazing, right?
It is.
But like we've been saying, more research is super important to really understand the long-term effects and how we can use resveratrol.
Right. Now, before we move on, I have to ask about the gut microbiome. It's such a hot topic these days, and I know you've been looking into how resveratrol interacts with it. What's the connection there?
Oh, the gut microbiome. That's where things get really interesting. You see, our gut is home to trillions of bacteria, fungi, all these microorganisms. And we call this whole community the gut microbiome.
Right.
And what's really cool is that emerging research suggests there's this whole interplay happening between resveratrol and these little guys living in our gut.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more about this interplay.
So research suggests that resveratrol might actually help keep a healthy balance in the gut microbiome.
Yeah.
And that balance is super important for our overall health.
So is resveratrol maybe acting as a prebiotic? Like it's feeding the good bacteria in our gut?
That's exactly what some studies are suggesting. And by helping these good bacteria grow, resveratrol could help push out the harmful ones, creating a healthier environment in the gut overall.
So it's not just resveratrol working directly on our cells, it's also influencing the entire environment in our gut.
Exactly. And this whole interaction between resveratrol and our gut bacteria might actually be a key reason why it's so good for us.
Wow. So a healthier gut leads to better overall health, and resveratrol might be helping to make that happen. It sounds like a pretty powerful partnership.
It really does highlight how interconnected our bodies are
Yeah.
and how our diet, our gut microbiome, and our overall health are all linked.
This is fascinating. But I have a feeling there's more to the story.
Oh, absolutely.
It can't all be good news. Are there any potential downsides we need to know about?
You're right. It's important to look at the whole picture. While the potential benefits are amazing, we need to approach resveratrol with a balanced view. Like a lot of things in health and science, there's more to it than meets the eye.
Okay, so let's get to the other side of the story. What's the reality check when it comes to resveratrol?
Well, first off, it's important to know that not all studies have shown the same positive results. Some have shown mixed results or even negative outcomes. And that just shows how much more research we need to fully understand how resveratrol works.
Yeah, it's true. Research is always changing and evolving. Another thing to keep in mind is that a 2020 review pointed out some potential toxicity and adverse effects that can happen with resveratrol, especially if you take too much. So dosage is really important, and we need more research there too.
So more isn't necessarily better in this case.
Right, exactly. It's always best to talk to a doctor or healthcare professional before starting any new supplements, especially something like resveratrol.
Makes sense. Any other potential downsides we should be aware of?
Yeah, there are a couple more things. A 2021 review, while they were optimistic about the potential of resveratrol, they also stressed that we need more research to really confirm its effectiveness and safety as an actual drug. So it's not quite there yet.
So it's promising, but not a magic bullet. Not quite. We need more data to understand those long-term effects and any potential risks. And there was one more finding that I found really surprising.
Oh.
A 2019 review suggested that taking resveratrol might actually work against some of the good effects of exercise in older adults.
Really? That's unexpected. Why would that be?
It seems like resveratrol could interfere with some of the molecular pathways that are activated when we exercise.
Yeah.
It's complicated and needs more research for sure.
So if you're an active older adult, maybe talk to your doctor before adding resveratrol into the mix.
Absolutely. It's always best to get advice that's tailored to your own situation.
Okay, so we've got the inconsistent research findings and the need for careful dosing. Before we jump back into the gut microbiome connection, anything else on the potential downside?
Oh, one more area that comes up a lot is resveratrol and cancer.
Oh, right.
Some studies say it might have anti-cancer properties, but the research is still ongoing, and the evidence is kind of mixed.
What do you mean by mixed?
Well, some studies show really promising results, while others don't really show much. A 2018 review looked into its potential for fighting different types of cancer, especially highlighting its antioxidant abilities. But again, still more research is needed there.
So we can't say for sure right now that resveratrol is a proven way to treat or prevent cancer.
Exactly. We need more research to figure out exactly what its role is in cancer.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's go back to resveratrol and the gut microbiome for a minute. You said there's this synergistic relationship there. Can you break that down a little more?
Sure. Like we talked about before, the gut microbiome is so important for our overall health. It affects everything from how we digest food and absorb nutrients to how our immune system works and even our mental health.
Right, right. It seems like we're learning more and more about how important that balance of bacteria in our gut really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really fascinating is that resveratrol seems to actually contribute to that balance.
So how does that work? How are they connected?
Well, it's still being researched, but some studies are showing that resveratrol might be acting as a prebiotic. Basically, it's like food for the good bacteria in our gut.
So it's feeding the good guys and helping them flourish.
Exactly. And by helping the good bacteria thrive, resveratrol could help crowd out the bad bacteria, leading to a healthier, more balanced microbiome.
That's incredible. So this healthy gut environment then helps contribute to resveratrol's overall benefits.
That's what the research suggests. It's like this amazing chain reaction. A healthy gut helps us be healthier overall, and resveratrol seems to play a part in making that happen.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get a better picture of how resveratrol, the gut microbiome, and our overall health are all connected. It's like a delicate system where everything impacts everything else.
That's a great way to put it. It really shows us that our bodies are these complex systems, and keeping things in balance is super important.
Now let's talk about resveratrol supplements for a minute. We've been talking about all these potential benefits. Does that mean everyone should run out and start taking resveratrol supplements?
That's a great question. And like with most things related to health, it's not quite that simple.
Okay, so what are the things we should consider if we're thinking about taking resveratrol supplements?
Well, first and foremost, like we've been talking about, we still need more research to fully understand the long-term effects and potential risks of taking resveratrol supplements. We just don't have all the answers yet.
Right, right. What about the quality of the supplements themselves? Is there anything specific we should be looking for?
That's a really important point. The quality and purity of resveratrol supplements can be all over the place.
Yeah.
They're not all made the same, unfortunately.
So how do we make sure we're getting a good quality supplement?
The best thing to do is research and choose carefully. Look for supplements that have been tested by an independent lab for purity and potency.
Okay.
There are reputable organizations like NSF International, USP, or Consumer Lab that do this kind of testing to make sure the supplements are high quality.
So looking for those certifications is a good start. What about dosage? Is there a specific amount of resveratrol that people should be taking?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer for dosage. The right amount can be different for everyone depending on things like age, health conditions, and why you're taking it in the first place.
So again, it's best to talk to a healthcare professional to figure out the right dosage.
Exactly. They can take everything about your individual situation into account and give you personalized advice.
Now, what about interactions with other medications? Is that something to be concerned about?
Yeah, that's definitely something to be aware of. Resveratrol could potentially interact with certain medications like blood thinners, immunosuppressants, and some chemotherapy drugs.
So if you're taking any medications at all, it's crucial to talk to your doctor before adding resveratrol to the mix.
Absolutely. They can check for any potential interactions and adjust your medications or supplements as needed.
Okay, so the key takeaways for resveratrol supplements are to choose brands that you trust, look for certifications, think about the dosage carefully, and always, always talk to your doctor to avoid any bad interactions.
That's a perfect summary. And remember, supplements aren't a quick fix or a replacement for a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
They can be helpful, but it's important to use them responsibly and under the guidance of a healthcare professional.
Now let's talk about the research that's being done on resveratrol. We've mentioned the need for more human clinical trials. What are researchers focusing on specifically?
There are so many exciting avenues researchers are exploring. A lot of research is focused on resveratrol's potential for preventing and treating age-related diseases, things like cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer.
So they're looking into whether resveratrol could actually help us live longer, healthier lives.
Exactly. They're also looking into how it can reduce inflammation, improve metabolic health, and even boost cognitive function.
Wow, that's a pretty wide range of possibilities.
It is. And they're not just studying resveratrol on its own. They're also exploring how it works in combination with other compounds to see if they can enhance its effects.
Like a superpowered blend of beneficial ingredients.
Exactly. And as we touched on before, they're also researching new and innovative ways to deliver resveratrol to make it more bioavailable. The goal is to make sure that more of the resveratrol we take actually gets absorbed and used by our bodies.
Right, so it's not just about taking resveratrol, it's about making sure it's actually getting where it needs to go in the body.
Exactly. It's a really dynamic and exciting area of research with lots of promising developments on the horizon.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. Resveratrol is a really complex compound, and it's clearly captured the attention of scientists and people who are passionate about health.
It really speaks to the incredible power of nature and our ongoing efforts to understand its secrets to improve human health and longevity.
Now, as we wrap up part 2 of our episode, do you have any final thoughts or takeaways for our listeners?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the research on resveratrol is incredibly promising. But it's still early days. We're learning new things all the time, and getting a clearer understanding of this complex compound.
So there's still more to the story.
Absolutely. That's
Mhm.
what makes it so fascinating. It's a good reminder that there's always more to learn, and the quest for knowledge is a journey that never ends.
Welcome back. We've covered a lot of ground about resveratrol, the good, the bad, the ongoing research, and what to watch out for with supplements.
Right.
But what really fascinates me is how all this research could change the future of health and longevity.
It's really incredible, isn't it? As we dig deeper into resveratrol, we're also learning more about the aging process itself. It's like we're getting this glimpse into how our bodies actually work.
So resveratrol isn't just a potential supplement, it's also helping us understand what aging really is.
Exactly. By studying how resveratrol interacts with our cells and systems, researchers are uncovering these molecular mechanisms that drive aging. And this knowledge could lead to all sorts of new ways to slow down or even reverse aging.
Wow, reversing aging, that sounds pretty futuristic.
I know, right?
Uh,
It might seem like science fiction, but it's an idea that's driving a lot of really cutting-edge research. If resveratrol can actually impact aging at the cellular level, it could completely transform healthcare and how we think about longevity.
It's a pretty mind-blowing concept. We've talked a lot about personalized medicine during this deep dive. How does that play into the future of resveratrol research?
Personalized medicine is becoming so important in this field. Researchers are realizing that resveratrol's effects can be very different from person to person.
So what works for one person might not work for someone else.
Right. Our genes, our lifestyle choices, even the makeup of our gut microbiome can all affect how our bodies respond to resveratrol.
So the future of resveratrol research could involve figuring out the best way to use it based on each individual's needs.
Exactly. Imagine a future where we can analyze someone's genes and lifestyle to determine the perfect dose and type of resveratrol for them.
Wow, that would be incredible. Are there any specific areas of research that look particularly promising in that area?
One area that's getting a lot of attention is developing new delivery systems for resveratrol.
Okay.
Like we talked about earlier, improving bioavailability is key. We need to make sure that more of the resveratrol we take is absorbed and used by our bodies.
So are they finding new ways to deliver resveratrol more effectively?
Yes, they're exploring things like encapsulating resveratrol in nanoparticles or using liposomes to deliver it directly to specific cells.
And what are the advantages of these new delivery methods?
Well, these new methods could make resveratrol more effective at lower doses, which could also reduce the risk of side effects. It's all about getting the right amount of resveratrol to the right place at the right time.
That's amazing. Are there any other exciting areas of research to look out for?
Another really interesting area is research into resveratrol analogs.
Analogs.
Yeah, these are basically synthetic versions of resveratrol that have been modified chemically to make them even better.
So like resveratrol 2.0.
Haha, exactly. Researchers are making analogs that are more potent, have better bioavailability, or even target specific pathways in the body. It's all about fine-tuning resveratrol to get the most out of it.
It's incredible to see how far this research has come and what it could mean for the future. But I think it's important to remember that resveratrol isn't a miracle cure or the fountain of youth.
I completely agree. We have to be realistic. Resveratrol is a fascinating compound with huge potential, but it's not going to solve everything.
So while it might be part of a healthier future, it's not a replacement for a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly. Things like a balanced diet, regular exercise, managing stress, and getting enough sleep are still the most important things for well-being.
And of course, talking to your doctor before taking any new supplements, including resveratrol.
Yes, always. It's important to be cautious with supplements and make informed decisions with the guidance of a healthcare professional.
Well, we've explored resveratrol from all angles, the potential benefits, the potential downsides, the ongoing research, and what the future might hold. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. It's been a pleasure discussing all this with you. Who knows what amazing discoveries are just around the corner. But one thing is certain. Resveratrol has the potential to make a big difference for human health and longevity.
Thank you for joining us for this exploration of resveratrol. We hope you learned some interesting things and maybe feel a little more curious about the potential of this incredible natural compound. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.